So here we are in London at Gibson Guitar Studios.
Yeah.
And very, very delighted to welcome Raz and Brian of the legendary band Diamond Head.
Thank you very much for having us.
Great news. There is a new album coming out in May on Silver Lining Music, May the 24th, called The Coffin Train. Not the coffee train, but the Coffin Train.
Copies today. Just got them today. So
much later.
Very proud. It's a couple of years in the making, but here it is.
Yeah, so we're on board now. So you're still bringing lightning to the nations through your fantastic music. But there's a dark edge to the music, both on the previous album, Diamond Head, and now the new album. Has that been kind of a deliberate shift? Is that Raz's influence?
It's not my fault.
I would say it's part of the times we're in, 2019. You know, metal has moved on. But yeah, it's definitely partly Raz. The lyrics, I mean, Raz writes all the lyrics, so a lot of that theme has come from Raz.
Might be my depressing mindset on the world and how things are going at the moment. But
yeah, so Shades of Black, Until We Burn, Death by Design.
Cheerful.
The Coffin Train. So tell me about Coffin Train. Is there a kind of a theme or a hidden thing about driving towards death?
Yeah, Coffin Train, I mean, the title of the track, but also the whole concept of the song came from a dream I had when I was dreaming and I saw this train full of carriages with like giant coffins and body parts flying out of it. I was driving away from the horizon, and in the background of that horizon was a giant mushroom cloud of a nuclear explosion. So it's basically about human extinction and who are responsible, and the young generations are rebelling against that. You know, you see that a lot in the news now as well. And funny enough, that actually happened after I wrote the song. I was like, wow, did I see the future? Oh my God. So it is very dark, the song, but some of them, Death by Design is actually more about living your life to the fullest rather than doom and gloom. So yeah, so it's not all bad.
You've got to sync the music as well. You know, it usually begins with quite a mean, heavy riff, so you have to go, you know, conjure up an image that all works together.
It was a good thing we didn't call the messenger of death.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, it's just another one of them dark songs.
So Brian, it wasn't really a reboot, but when Raz came on board, you know, Nick having left, and then before that, Sean having left a long time before that, were you looking for a different sound, or was it just that Raz just brought a missing element?
Yeah, I'm not really looking for a different sound, although, I mean, I don't like to repeat myself, but I think I still work in the same way that it'll start with a riff. I try and come up with guitar riffs whenever I'm practicing, you know, the fingers might land on the riff. So they'll always start that way, but Raz is going to have a different take to Nick, he's got a different take to Sean, and I think, you know, it's a bit more modern, things have moved on. Raz is, you know, younger than myself, so he's got a bit of a different outlook. He's Danish. He's got a different way.
Speak Danish.
Would you like to introduce yourself in Danish?
No.
Just to prove you can.
Really? Hej, jeg hedder Rasmus, og jeg er forsanger i Diamond Head. There you go. That's as much Danish as you're going to get.
So yeah, not really intentional, other than we just instinctively went this one, and it's great. We're very pleased with it. It sounds fantastic.
Thinking all those years back, because it was you and Duncan effectively you started at 76?
76, well, we were still at school. Yeah.
Could you imagine back then that we'd be sat 43 years old?
No, who could? It's difficult to see a year down the line. There's no way I would have imagined Diamond Head would be still going 14 years later, would have made 8 albums, 8 studio albums, including, I mean, there was a couple of albums we made that didn't even get released, nobody's ever heard. It's crazy what's happened in all this time. So it just very naively started with a bedroom band, a biscuit tin drum kit, you know, that we made ourselves. I had my brother's guitar. Who knew, you know, if someone would have told me, or if you could see the future, you'd probably do things differently. But I'm so glad I learned to play the guitar. It's been a constant companion and seen me through tough times and been a complete, you know, a career. It's given me a career. I've been a professional musician for 30 years. So I love it.
And so there was never ever a dream to return to being a car mechanic.
No, horrible job. Yeah, you used to get filthy and getting the oil out the sump and washing them with a jet wash. I did that for about 4 years. I think that was a means to an end. When I left school, my dad was an apprentice. No, my dad was a tool maker, and he said I need to get an apprenticeship. So I thought, well, I'll be a car mechanic because I'm sort of interested in the bit. And I just did it in order to save money and buy equipment. I bought a Fender Strat, I bought a Marshall amp, the flying V, a car, essentials to a teenager.
And do you regret the first lineup of the band not staying together for as long as it did?
It would be nice in a romantic, ideal world if we were all happy and we'd all sold lots of records and we all still going. I mean, the only band I can think of that's true of is U2, really. They formed in '76. They're still going, that's the same lineup. So that's extremely rare for no members to have come and gone at all. But it's not meant to be, is it? You don't always get on, and things happen. You as you get older. Anyone else to say? What can I say?
It's all in the book.
It's not easy. Keeping a band happy and together is
the hardest part of the band, actually.
People could quite easily walk away.
Yeah.
And Raz mentioned your book. I mean, now that you've had a couple of great new albums, is there a temptation to go back and say, here's what's happened, the great things have happened, including the new deal with Silver Lining?
Regarding the book?
Yeah.
No, because I did an updated version of the book in 2017, so I filled in the blanks from almost 9 years, and that took a bit of time. My computer crashed at one point and I lost all the photographs. It was all destroyed, kind of thing. There were funny lines on them, and it just took a long time to get it all back together and then do a reprint. And I've been posting them out, it's for sale on the fan club, but it's a lot of work. I wouldn't want to do another update, really. Don't appeal.
We'll see.
We'll see. You never know what's coming out of the bend here.
Yeah. And we look at the songs you're playing live, because 2019 you've got some tour dates already announced, a number of festivals coming up. So you've got Stone Deaf, you've got Hard Rock Hell, Rock and Blues, and then you've got 2 very special shows, well, from a fan point of view, the 2 Apollos, although
yes.
With all the Hammersmith venue, it's still the Odeon,
yes.
and the Manchester Apollo.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. Yeah, that'll be really good. And it's with Krokus, isn't it, and Girlschool. So we played with Girlschool a few times. We've opened for Saxon, and I don't know, they've opened for Krokus as well. So we've all played together at some point or other through the career. Should be a bit of a special night there. We did 8 dates with Saxon last year across Europe, and they were all fantastic. So
yeah,
we got to know Saxon a bit better and had a few backstage chats and things. So it's going to be good.
So it's the new deal with Silver Lining. Has that kind of widened your horizons in terms of bands you can tour with, venues you can now play at?
I think we're still evolving. It's a big label. We haven't been with this bigger label for a long, long time. And we've also got management now with Siren Management. So things are slowly opening up to us, doors, people knock on doors. We're in with a good roster of bands that are appropriate to where Diamond Head is.
Well, we're sort of early in the stage of this relationship for now anyway, so we're sort of just seeing where they see us going and what they want to do and how they want to work the band. Sure. But one thing is certain is that they really like the band, they really like the new album, and they've been fantastic and very supportive since we sort of signed with them. So it's been extremely positive so far.
Just thinking about those 2 big shows that are coming out, the Apollo shows. Are you going to be dusting down some classics you've not played for a while? Don't You Ever Leave Me, for example?
No.
I think we're going to focus more on the new material.
Well, at the Saxon shows, we'll only have probably half an hour, so we'll end up doing a greatest hits kind of show. Maybe 1 new song, 2 new songs. But at the bigger festivals, we might get an hour, I think we've got an hour at Hellfest. So we will do some new material, but we occasionally do, like you say, dusted down tracks, but that's more on our own dates, where we've got an hour and 20, hour and a half to play with. Yeah. So we might do something like We Won't Be Back Again or Dead Reckoning.
But talking about making music,
yeah, we've discussed
see if it's going to work.
We've done Call Me as well. People ask for Call Me.
Yeah.
And it's nice if you can tweak the set and change it up, and it stops it getting too formularised, too safe.
But the festival the slots that you get for festivals, any other sport shows, unfortunately they're just not within the time frame where when you have songs that are 9 minutes long, that's 33% of your set going on one song. It makes it difficult. So
and you're often playing to people who've never seen Diamond before, and you want to just give them that burst of energy, and you play your big songs.
And we know that the tracks that, let's say, the uninformed or the people being in another country, the ones that they'll be familiar with, of course, the ones that Metallica covered, right?
Yeah, we get that a lot, so we end up doing those 4 songs very often. Yeah, sometimes that's all we'll do, the 4 Metallica.
But it's a real testament to your songwriting, Brian, that a lot of the sets, the core of the set of the songs off the first album.
Yeah, no, amazing how that album has become so important and so, loved. Who knew back in the day? I mean, at the time, no label wanted to even sign the band, so they were presented with Likeness of the Nations, and they all passed on it, with the exception of a couple of labels that offered us a single deal, or maybe 2 singles, and if they weren't hits, we won't do the album. So that's about as good as we could get. So all these, labels don't necessarily know what they're doing, even if it's put right under their nose.
And there's a strange irony in the fact that when we were growing up, we referred to the first album as the White Album. Then, of course, Metallica had the Black Album.
The Black Album. But that album's called Metallica, and the Diamond Head album is called Likeness of the Nations. It became a nickname, didn't it? Like the Beatles' White Album.
But then you had
that was called The Beatles.
But then you had Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
So I think you can draw a few lines in there, but that's only a compliment regardless.
Train of thought.
So, well, if they do an album next time and it's got something with a train in it, then we'll bloody know.
Yeah.
And body parts.
Yeah, body parts.
Body parts. We could have called it Body Parts.
It's a good title.
Body Parts.
Dean, write it down. Body parts.
So, Brian, we're surrounded by some fabulous guitars here at Gibson. When you're at home, are there songs or bands that you jam to when you're not writing?
I tend to warm up first, and sometimes I'll put a track on and just jam away. But not particularly. I like to do exercises. I like to do scales. And then I'll just play lead parts or difficult parts. I've been practicing to the album. I've been working on all the solos just so that I can 100% relax and play the solo without making mistakes on the night, when there's all kinds of distractions going on. I like to do my preparation and get it down as good as possible. But, I'm a fan. I'll play, AC/DC songs or Pink Floyd songs or Beatles songs. I'm a fan. I still love music. I've always listened to music in the car, whatever.
Here's one I have to ask. When Diamond Head first came to prominence, though, people like Jeff Bartlett were saying it's a new Led Zeppelin. The Zeppelin was died after John Bonham died in 1980, and you guys were just on the rise. You referred to it as a Led Zeppelin. Now you have Greta Van Fleet that have been called the new Zeppelin. What do you think about bands like that?
Well, I like the singer. I think he's really good, but I think the hype surrounding Greta Van Fleet is incredible. I've never seen a band hyped as much as Greta Van Fleet.
It's good to have John on your wings.
I think it will possibly, destroy them, or it will be tough to survive this kind of microscopic, attention being placed on Greta Van Fleet. I hope they can do it. They're young, good-looking guys. The world's at their feet, but it's a hell of a lot of pressure. More pressure than bands like Zeppelin or Sabbath or Purple had back in the day. So we'll see what happens. But
do you find it funny that they say, no, we're not a Zeppelin band, we don't sound anything like them? It's like, what?
It is pretty obvious.
It's pretty
but
obvious.
Then again, he does sound a bit like Robert Plant, doesn't he? So It's you got to draw comparison with Zeppelin, with that guy's voice.
It's how people do. People draw comparisons, how they sort of explain their opinions and what they think. But yeah, I think if you put one track next to that, it's going to be very hard to sort of tell the difference. That's not a bad thing.
In a way, there's a lot of bands sound like Metallica, there's a lot of bands sound like Iron Maiden. Why not have a band that sounds a bit like Led Zeppelin? What's wrong with it?
And I think Raz, first time that we all saw you sing live after we heard the album, it's like, he's kind of an amalgam of the singers that have gone before. So is that just how you sounded, or did you kind of deliberately adapt your voice to who had gone before?
I'm a little bit of a chameleon, I guess. So I don't sound like Sean, I don't sound like Nick, but I think because they wrote their songs, I feel it's very important that I try and do their songs justice. So if I have a hint of what they sounded like in their writing of those songs, I think that's only a good thing, because you have to do justice as a person coming in on the side, I guess. I think with the new record, there's a lot more of me in it, because it's just straight down the line.
And it could be that when I first heard Raz, I recognised something in his voice that I liked. I think I know a good singer when I hear one. And so I tried a few singers, and I instantly liked Raz, and I thought, okay, there's a hint of Sean in there, there's a hint of Chris Cornell. So I just thought Raz has got a great voice. And that was all that I was thinking about. I thought he would do justice to the back catalogue, and he was just a great voice. The writing came months later, before we even had that conversation. We had a bunch of gigs to get out the way first.
And for me, that comes across with the opening track of the album, Belly of the Beast, which I think has been released as like a single or a video.
The link.
There's a lot more. It's like, it sounds, obviously you can hear Brian's guitar playing in the arrangement, but there are elements that haven't been there before in the way you sing. Did you feel that you were finally home and you could express yourself more?
Definitely. I mean, I found a different sound on the whole record, and I think over the course of the time in Diamond Head, I'm always trying new things and developing a sound, and I'm homing in more on what I think is probably what I sound like on this record. A funny thing about actually Belly of the Beast, it actually had a different vocal on it to start with, but a few days before the mastering, I just had to know this is not right, and I re-recorded the whole vocal line, and it became a lot more challenging, but it was a lot more correct. And you even called me literally in the middle of a chorus, just picked up the phone singing, and it was a really high and half a note, and Brian just went like, fuck it, hell, Raz, you're alright. So
that's a breath.
It's a beast of a vocal song as well, so it's going to be interesting when we do that live.
I said to Raz, what about if you have to do the whole album live as a showcase? And he's like, I hadn't really thought of that. We'll see how that goes.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No, it's a fine album. It reflects kind of the legacy of the band, but then it's modern sound as well. So I think you've achieved the objective.
Exactly. It's time again for the 21st century.
It's good. We're going to have to repeat that again.
One more time. Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah, it's definitely got lots of elements of the earlier work, and I'm still coming up with those kind of riffs. But more modern production. Raz produced this album. He's probably coming at it from a slightly different angle, So I'm happy with everything that's going on.
And given your 43-year relationship essentially with the band, have you ever, and I know there was Radio Moscow at one point, have you ever sort of felt like doing like an album of like collaborations, working with other people?
Well, nobody's ever offered that opportunity to me, but it's not something I would seek to do. I'm happy doing Diamond Head, and I put a lot of work into writing and working out the solos and all that, so I probably wouldn't want to take on a whole bunch of other work. I suppose it would depend who it was going to be with. A good opportunity is a good opportunity, but it's not on my to-do list.
I hear Greta Van Fleet want to work with you.
Okay, producer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See what I can do.
Yeah, because I'm thinking back to, I mean, I've heard the Flight East demos, for example, which are very popular. It shows the different sides, like Brad can write in a completely different style. I wonder whether he's got kind of a need to do that style
that's
again.
not just me, that's Sean as well, don't forget. So, you know, I'm a fan of pop. I do really like a lot of pop music. But yeah, ABBA's great. But I've tended to try and focus on rock. It's what I do on guitar. I'm a huge fan of the Zeppelins and the 70s rock bands. So I probably narrowed it down a little bit. Thought, well, I think this is what I do best. So I've always kind of been a bit of a Tony Iommi fan, a bit of a Jimmy Page fan, riff writers, you know, write great songs. So I want to probably pursue that, perfect that. I still feel that's hard enough to get good at doing that. To write a great song, something like Immigrant Song or Kashmir or something. It's always going to be my goal.
Have you written Glenn Hughes? That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You and Glenn Hughes? That'd be
Me and Glenn?
Yeah. Like that.
Well, I mean, you've written Am I Evil, so I mean...
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have. That is true. Well, I can't big it up, can I? I like it, but not everybody. You know, I can't blow my own trumpet, shall we say. It is our Power in the Middle, Smoke on the Water, though, so...
But it's a bit longer than Paranoid.
I'm very proud of it. I'm glad to have it in the set.
So finally, Raz, from your point of view and songwriting, is this the perfect vehicle for the songs you want to write, or is there kind of an inner aqua, or?
No, I think it's very much my area. I mean, it is metal, and that's where I feel at home. So I mean, I like it heavier as well, but you know, Diamond has a very specific sound. We have to respect that and stay with it, because that's what makes Diamond Head so great and what makes them stand out from all the other stuff. There are tons of bands out there that go heavy and screamy and growly, and that's all great. I mean, I can dig that once in a while, but there's a certain class to how Diamond Head has always been, and I think that's really important, and that's a massive part of why it's such a great band. So for me, it's great. On this record, I had a lot more input and I can put a lot more myself into it, I think. Where on the 2016 album, it was the stepping stone of fitting in with Diamond Head and am I okay, or should I bugger off? Like me?
It was a bit more feel your way.
Yeah.
To see what the fans thought. You know, we were never really sure what they were going to think of that album until they got it. They all loved it. That was a big confidence boost and gave us the impetus to write more and do this new album. And I think Raz was probably able to relax a little. Okay, I'm accepted. We can therefore push a little more. We don't have to just follow this. We can also let's try that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we were kind of going, will this work? Will people like a read and like a chorus and messenger? Yeah, we kind of let's see.
I think if we liked it, I think that would give us enough confidence. We both think it was good. If one of us would have said it ain't working, we would have got rid of it. So as long as we both like it, it's difficult to second guess what people want, but
yeah,
I think we kind of knew what kind of album we should make.
Yeah, but it's going to be up to the fans ultimately to decide whether it's right or...
They'll let us know.
But the reaction to Belly the Beast on YouTube has been like 99%.
So people have only got 2 months to wait. So the Coffin Train is out on the 24th of May.
Get it now.
Through Silver Lining Music, the new label.
Yeah.
We've heard a preview and it sounds brilliant.
Thank you.
From the beginning to the end. So look out for the Belly of the Beast, which is available on YouTube now. And will there be any other songs released before the album comes out?
There will be some. We can't say which ones and how, but there will be more stuff leaked out there.
We're planning to do 5 videos for this new release, which we've never done before. We might have done 2 in the past, but at one point I said we should do videos before the album comes out. So I thought, okay, let's do that then. And we're going to be recording the 2 videos this weekend. Yeah. So it's all going on. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So people should look out for those videos. And then there's the London date, I think, on the 19th of October.
Yes.
At the Hammersmith Odeon. And then the following day, you're at the Manchester Apollo.
Yes.
So we'll see you in London. Thanks very much, guys.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Thanks so much. Really.